for this?
Hey guys, Ash here, coming at you today talking all about the Royale Giant and how to have success with it. So Royale Giant is a very powerful card in the game right now, but you can't just plop it into your deck and hope for success. You have to learn how to combo. And on the screen now, you can actually see from Clash Royale deckbuilder.com, really awesome site, and it actually shows the most popular countering cards being used for other cards in the game. So not only does it show you the top decks over at Clash Royale Builder, but also I use it as a valuable tool to find out what people are using mostly to counter certain cards in certain popular decks. And that's not a paid sponsorship, it's just a website that I really like to use. So we're going to keep these counters in mind today as we go through this episode, and I'm going to share two variations of a deck that I've been having a ton of success with, both in tournaments and in matchmaking. And this is the first variation with the Princess card, and you can see I just clicked on the Royale Giant along with the Wizard, the Princess, and the Minion Horde. That's because the Wizard and the Minion Horde are going to be the main combos along with the Royale Giant, and it's just very important to know how and when to attack with the Royale Giant and how to pick your spots. So those are all the things we're going to be going over in today's episode. Make sure you stay tuned to the end of the episode, as I do plan on doing a live attack, or maybe two, with the Bomber card instead of the Princess card in case you don't have the Princess yet. So this match here, I was playing against a level 12, and I'll tell you what, I get kind of nervous when I go against a level 11, let alone a level 12. You kind of think like you don't have a shot going into the match, but hey, sometimes you can pull off the victory, and that's exactly what I did in this match, so we'll see how I did it. So always want to play the Elixir Collector if I can at the beginning of the match. So if I have the Elixir Collector in my deck, I'll certainly play it right away. Now, I usually play my very first Royale Giant card pretty early on out the gate. Now, some people I notice hold back on the Royale Giant, but what I like to do is I want to figure out how my opponent is going to counter my very first Royale Giant, and then I can make adjustments from there on out. So what I did here is I noticed that he's playing the Barbarians to counter my Royale Giant. So now I'm going to be ready with my Wizard for the splash damage to back up my Royale Giant, and you're going to see from here on out, I won't play my Royale Giant until I have that Wizard in back of him. So again, I'm trying to maintain the Elixir advantage. This is especially important because I am down as far as the levels on all my cards. You can see his Royale Giant is actually level 13, mine's only level 11, so you got to keep that in the back of your mind. You have to play very safe, conservatively, and pick your spots. So this is how my Wizard combo with the Royale Giant works. You wait till you're pretty close to full Elixir, and then you place your Wizard behind your King Tower, and then once the Wizard, right before the Wizard gets to the halfway mark on the map, then you play your Royale Giant. So then the Royale Giant goes into the lane and he targets the Crown Tower. And then from there, what you do is you wait a quick second, you wait to see what your opponent drops to counter your Royale Giant Wizard combo, and then by that time you should have enough Elixir to drop a third unit on top of the Royale Giant and the Wizard. So in that case, I dropped the Minion Horde because I figured my opponent was going to counter with either a Frost Wizard or a Barbarian. So a Minion Horde is a great counter to those cards. So we'll go through this same process quite a few times in today's episode. Now you can see here on out, I am down pretty big, but he makes a pretty big mistake there, and he uses a Fireball against my Crown Tower. Now I would not advocate doing that. He has the Zap spell, and you know what? When you have a tower down to 4 hit points, there's no need to waste a Fireball to take it out. You can take it out using a Zap spell later on in the match, or if you really have to towards the end of the match, you can use a Fireball, but there's no reason to do that with 45 seconds left on the clock was when he did it. So now we're going to go to overtime, it looks like. You can see that he just used his Fireball. I knew he didn't have it up, and I knew he didn't have any arrows, so I was quick to launch my Minion Horde in the right lane. That gave me a little bit of a damage on our tower's advantage. So now I'm just going to go ahead and get this same combo reloaded here because I know he has the Barbarians and the Ice Wizard. He doesn't have a Minion Horde, he only has minions. So what I do is I play, again, my Wizard Wizard, my minion horde, and here comes the Royal Giant. So here I have the combo again. I have Royal Giant, I have Wizard, and then I had my arrows up. I played the arrows a little bit preemptively, thinking that he might drop down those minions, but turns out didn't need them, and I picked up the win against a level 12, so pretty excited about that. I said good luck, he's not hearing it. Gonna go ahead and move on to another replay here. So this is the idea here. Now you saw in that match I was mainly using the Wizard and the Royal Giant together. That's very difficult to counter because having that splash damage behind the Royal Giant brings me back to how I opened this episode, talking about ClashRoyaleDeckBuilder.com and talking about seeing the most popular counters for the Royal Giant. So you can see the top 2 counters for the Royal Giant are actually Skeleton Army and Minion Horde. So my arrows and my Wizard are 2 awesome counters to those counters. So now we're at my second match here that we're going to share today. After this, we'll go ahead and do a live attack with the Bomber instead of the Princess. Now the Princess, I should mention her a little bit. If you don't have Princess and you have Ice Wizard and Bomber and you're trying to decide which one to use, you can actually use either. I personally actually prefer using the Bomber to the Ice Wizard. Now I know that sounds a little bit crazy as Ice Wizard is certainly legendary and more difficult to acquire, but the reason being is because I still have the Wizard in this deck, I still have the arrows, and I still have the Minion Horde. So when I have those 3 things that can target air units, I don't necessarily need the Ice Wizard that can target air units versus the Bomber who can do a heck of a lot of damage against ground units. So if I am playing the Bomber instead of the Ice Wizard in a Royal Giant deck, I actually find that I have a little bit more versatility, a little bit more power on my pushes than I do when I have the Ice Wizard. So it's just my personal preference. You can see on this match here, pay special attention to where I'm placing my cannon. So instead of placing it directly in the center of the map or a little bit to the left near the tower that he's attacking, I actually place it a little bit to the right. It just makes sure it is up close enough to the center mark of the map. And what that's going to do is make those troops travel a longer distance and also put them in range of my other tower at the same time. So always place that cannon a little bit farther up and a little bit farther to the opposite side of the tower that your enemy's going for. Now the big caveat to that is if you're going up against a hog and you need to get that cannon down ASAP because it's such a fast moving target that sometimes if you're too slow on that cannon it will already lock onto your tower. So you can see that was a nice little push by me right there. I used the same combo really. I used the Wizard, the Royal Giant, and the Princess, and I did a lot of damage to that left tower, putting us more even in terms of tower damage. Again, with the cannon placed a little bit to the right, you can see now my right tower can actually target both the Dark Prince and now the Giant. And I go ahead and I preemptively drop my Royal Giant because I knew I had enough elixir to drop the Minion Horde right afterwards. So my Royal Giant was able to get the rest of that damage done to that tower, and now for me, it's all I have to do is defend for 20 seconds and I'll pick up the W. So I'm going to use my arrows against the Princess. I'm going to make sure I stop anything from happening. If I have to, I'll go ahead and use my Elixir Collector to protect my left tower, and you can see right now it's going to be a matter of time. 5 seconds left on the clock. I'm going to use my Royal Giant right here to be 1 extra meat shield, just prevent any of his troops from getting to my tower, and there it is, another win, and good game. This guy was a little bit better of a sport than the last guy. So let's go ahead and do a live match, guys. I will go ahead and put in my Bomber card. Now I should mention a couple other combinations you can use too, or a couple other card options rather you can use in place of that Princess if you don't have the Princess. So what you can do is you can go ahead and use just a simple Archer card. Now the Archers obviously have not nearly the range that the Princess card has, but they certainly have higher damage, so you can use them in a similar fashion as a protection, and you can also use them to back up your Royal Giant. Now the Ice Wizard, you could use him, we talked about him earlier, you could use the Ice Wizard in combination with the other Wizard, and that would make a mean little train behind your Royal Giant. Very tough to counter those combinations. But today we're going to go ahead and use, where is he? Let's use the Bomber. Obviously he's at the top, Ash, not at the bottom. So let's go ahead and upgrade and use our Bomber card, and we're going to show just how effective he can be. Hopefully, I hope I don't lose, because that would be kind of weird if I was like, the Bomber's just as great as the Princess, guys, and then I get totally 3-crowned. But let's go, a level 11. So this might be difficult, but let's see what we can do here. I'm very confident with this deck, even with the Bomber card in here, because the Bomber has some utility that the princess doesn't have. We have kind of a bad starting hand here. We don't have the elixir collector. I don't have anything crazy going on here. I'm going to go ahead and arrow the princess, try to rotate these cards, cycle through to get some kind of a combination up. So I'm going to place the wizards over here. They will stop this minion horde coming at me. He uses a zap spell, very nicely timed zap spell there. He actually gets a few hundred damage off. But let's turn this right into one of our combinations. He must be relatively low on elixir right now. So we have the bomber, the wizard, and the Royale Giant. This is the combination we want here. Let's pile on a little bit with some goblins of our own. The wizard will take down that princess, and now we're just going to sit back here. I think we're going to take down this tower. Wow, that went really well. Okay, we did not take down the tower, but we still did an excellent amount of damage to it, considering we turned that defensive wizard. If you remember, we placed that wizard to counter the minion horde, and then we just placed the Royale Giant. So here comes a hog. This is what I'm talking about with the cannon. You can't afford, like in the last match, to put the cannon way over on the other side like you can against a prince or a giant. So he's going to get a few hits in on me here. Looks like he's about ready to tie things up as far as damage goes. Let's go ahead and reload here and not panic. We still have the elixir collector up, so we should be at a slight advantage in terms of elixir right now. Let's go ahead and, oh, now he uses a rocket against my elixir collector. You don't want to do that against a Royale Giant deck, guys, because once I place my wizard here, this should be very effective. I should take down this tower right here, because now he is very low on elixir compared to me. He's going to come at me with a minion horde in the right-hand lane, but I have a minion horde of my own. I'm going to go ahead and use it, and there's nothing he can do against that Royale Giant wizard combination. You can see he played some goblins there, but my wizard one-shot them very fast, and it's just a really nice combo here. You know what? He made a big mistake with that rocket there, unfortunately, and not to pile on or anything, but that rocket is what is going to end up costing him this game, and wow! That was probably one of my fastest 3 crowns. Good game. It was just one mistake on his part, and God knows I've made so many mistakes myself, so nothing against him, but we took down a level 11, and I guess that, my friends, is how effective a bomber can be in this deck. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, had a lot of fun bringing it to you. Thanks for hanging out and spending a little bit of your day with me, and as always, guys, take care.